What do you think the cost is on others, to the people around the person with ADHD, if the person isn't able to self-reflect?
Oh, well, it can be disastrous. I mean, the classic example is the addict who's in denial, who won't acknowledge the problem. You're never going to get a handle on it if you don't acknowledge it. And that's another field. By the way, addiction is way more common in people with ADD than not ADD. And it's a fascinating, the basic reason is we are genetically, our pleasure level is set lower than the average person. So we need to resort to extraordinary means to get ordinary pleasure. And the easiest way to do that is with a drug or some activity, gambling, sex, spending, shopping, or alcohol, cocaine. We're trying to pump up the volume. That's what we're always trying to pump up the intensity. Ordinary life just doesn't do it for us. Boredom is our kryptonite. We can't tolerate it. We can't do it. We have to increase the intensity of the moment somehow. Well, there are adaptive ways of doing that. Creative outlet, intimate relationship, vigorous exercise. Those are adaptive ways of doing it. And the maladaptive ways are the array of quote unquote bad habits or addictions. I mean, we can be unbelievably stubborn, particularly the males. And it's a terrible thing. I mean, you render your life that could be wonderful tragic. And the inability to listen to other people is that's why my first rule is never worry alone. I am completely dependent upon a whole number of people. I am so far from being independent. And yet that's the value all these adults are trying to sell. They want to be independent. No, you want to be effectively interdependent. Of course, you don't want to be a leech, but you want to be able to give and to take. And that's interdependent. And that's the way it is in today's world. The people who are seeking to be independent, number one, they'll be unhappy. And number two, they won't do nearly as well. I mean, what's more fun than connecting? That's the reward of being alive. We're all going to die. We're all going to suffer that. Whether it's a punishment or a reward, who knows? But it's going to happen. So why not make the use that we've got? Now, connecting is scary. You're taking a chance. You're risking something when you reach out. But that is where the greatest pleasure in life resides, and it's also where it's the greatest factory of new ideas is in exchanging ideas. And that's because other people see things you don't see. And plus, just emotionally, it feels good. It feels better than good. That's the source of ecstasy, is in human connection. It doesn't have to be human. It could be canine, the love of a dog, but to hold back on that is like my daughter said, don't hold back on life out of fear. It's such a shame. But where it comes from is early experiences of shame. When early on you're told that the way you are is just not right, then you say, okay, I better cover it up. And I better develop a secret self, and I better develop this acceptable self that I show to the world.